Since the 13th century, the monastery at Valad in Greater Moravia has been a centre of worship, faith, piety, and the most holy of engineering. It was in those halls and workshops that the secrets of anchorite construction were developed and most closely guarded. The anchorites were a means for the forces of the faithful to stand toe-to-toe with even the most vicious and violent enemies to emerge from the ranks of hell, and the suffering pilots within were the most extreme examples of devotion to humanity and creation over oneself. It is not surprising that the forces of hell would seek to destroy this place, for doing so would constitute a terrible setback and incalculable loss to the forces of the faithful. And so, creeping through the world like a cancer, an elite squad of death commandos descended upon the monastery, and in a night of slaughter they set about killing every single member of the order, burning the libraries and firing the workshops as they sought to eradicate any trace of the holy mechanics of anchorite construction. A single monk by the name of Akakios managed to escape, bringing with him vital books and manuscripts of the saint and his orthodox faith, but most importantly, knowledge sanctified and memorized from his own study and experimentation. To the rest of the church and the world at large, the secrets were lost. Thousands of tomes of knowledge reduced to ash, hundreds of skilled engineering monks annihilated. It was believed that the church was ready to move on from the anchorites, a core element of the faith of so many trench pilgrims, mobile shrines to saints and the Lord, due to advances in armor tech from engineering and academic institutions all across Europe. Little did they know that a single monk, his path forward lit only by the flames that engulfed everything he loved as an inferno raged behind him, still knew the craft, and still held the fate. The Orthodox Order of St. Methodius would not die that night, its future somehow hanging above the abyss of history as if from a single frayed strand of hair. In great peril and with his order in ruin, Akakios fled to Theocrata of Hela, where he founded a new monastery on the slopes of the holy Mount Athos. Here, where the Aegean Sea laps at the craggy shores of the peninsula, the Orthodox Order of St. Methodius was born anew, carved from rough-hewn rock, a testament to the Lord's glory built one brick at a time. The surrounding area was home to many different orders, with countless monks living in monastic communities, and many of them were inspired to join Akakios' efforts. Word of the passion and piety on display spread, and more people joined, seeing the need not just for the knowledge of the blessed anchorite construction to be maintained, but also expanded upon. Akakios became the first war prophet of the order, and many of the lay members who joined became the first soldiers of the war pilgrimages of St. Methodius. They rapidly established themselves as something very different among the ranks of the trench pilgrims, showing far more discipline than others, with a methodical and technical approach to war that others would often lose in their fervour. Ultimately, the change that Akakios brought was that he viewed the sacred designs of St. Methodius as a gift to be embraced, enhanced, and expanded upon. While other orders held true to the traditional design, even after its near loss when the Death Commandos attacked, Akakios pushed the design forward, developing an anchorite that is without peer. At the centre of anchorite construction, they simply have access to more of them than anyone else, with all manner of sophisticated weaponry and equipment adding tactical nuance to them that others simply cannot match. When the war pilgrimage of St. Methodius march, it is in the shadow of their Shrine Anchorites, which they see as the ultimate incarnation of their faith, and pristine results of passionate hearts and inquisitive minds, both priceless gifts from the Almighty. Following the ancient Orthodox creed, the pilgrims of St. Methodius reject much of what other pilgrim processions may consider to be foundational or central tenets of their faith. They are firmly against the creation of communicants, and will not entertain them within their ranks, considering such things to be heresy. They also condemn the use of martyrdom devices as being an affront to God's commandment against suicide. Such agreements have led to schism, arguments, and even violence between the pilgrim processions, with even the church itself accusing the order of clinging to the outdated Eastern Orthodox faith, claiming they are guilty of heterodoxy. The problem for the church lies in the mountains of Athos, where the fortress monastery built by Akakios lies, and the almost impossible zeal of the order on the battlefield. Having already seen one monastery torn asunder, the inhabitants slaughtered like cattle, Akakios has built a place that would be nigh impossible to take. And so, the church turns a blind eye to the order, as long as its members focus all their zeal on attempting to achieve the first war prophet's main goal. Within dreams and visions that some claim were sent by the Lord himself, Akakios witnessed the salvation of all mankind upon the taking of the city of Trebizond. And so, this is the sole aim of the order, to march to Trebizond and to free it from whatever forces occupy it, or to raise it back to glory from whatever state it has fallen to. No pilgrimage has ever managed to make it that far, and no soul has ever managed to get within sight of those fabled walls. Still, rather than undermine their efforts, the monks and warriors of the Order of St. Methodius simply respond with greater zeal, and they shall know no rest until they reach the city on the hill.